Hey, hiya there. Marcia Grace here, your modern meditation mentor. It's Friday, and here I am again. I have for many years been talking about how we can alleviate our stress. That's my thing. And I will continue something that absolutely addresses that problem, but in a very different way, because one of the things I got in my morning meditation guidance was that because it is my birthday this week, that it's time for me to start to do something different, a little different on these little chats that we have. And so that's what I was enabled to do, or given to do, to really discuss the root cause of our stress, because most people don't really address that unless you go to therapy and you kind of dig and try to find out what's causing the stress. But what I know is that we are spiritual beings primarily, and so if we are not addressing our stress from that perspective, we're not really getting to the heart of the problem. And that's what the guidance was that I got this morning. So I've been a student and teacher of A Course in Miracles, which is a book. I mean, you can't really see it because I have it in this case that I carry it in. But this has been my spiritual lifesaver for the last 40 some odd years. And I've been teaching it and attempting to work through its principles, but to a very small group of people. But so now I want to bring it out in the world and share with you what I know is, for me and many other people, the absolute ultimate way to reduce stress in your body, in your mind, and to bring forth the spirit within you so that you can have a life of peace and joy and calm and happiness. Don't we all want that? I think we do. So for those of you who don't know anything about A Course in Miracles, first I'll just give you a really tiny brief description. You can go off and look it up on Amazon. It's a book. You just go and get it. Go to maybe your library carries it. I don't know. You can get it online. There's many ways to find it. Actually, you can read it for free online at ACIM.org. So that's really a great deal. And what I would say is, I'm going to give you just a very brief description, because you can find out for yourself or look it up online and you'll get lots of different opinions, millions probably. But what I'm going to say first is, like in anything in life, when you're going to learn something new, you want to learn it from a good teacher. Because if you don't have a good teacher, at least a good teacher, if not a great teacher, you may not get it in its most perfect sense. So I pride myself on being a great teacher because I've lived this course. I know it works. I know it's not easy. I know that it takes time, and we do need to develop patience as we do this work. But isn't that true of anything you have to learn? If you really want to learn something, it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to work at it consistently in order to achieve success. So briefly, A Course in Miracles is this book that came through two psychologists at Columbia University back in the 1960s in New York City. And it's what's considered channeled material, which means Helen, who heard a voice that told her to take dictation, and she told it to her boss at work the next day, and he said, well, what do you think it is? Did it scare you? She said, no, it didn't scare me. He says, well, listen to see what it says, and then we'll decide. And that started a 7-year process of Helen going home at night and starting to write down what she heard, because there were no computers and no tape recorders and no things like that in those days. You did everything by hand, imagine. And And she would come in the next day, show it to Bill, and Bill would they would discuss it, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing what the material was that they were getting, and they started to talk about it to a very, very few select people that they trusted over the years. But anyway, so it's I don't want to go into a lot of detail about it because, as I said, that's something you can get. I really want to dive right into what the course is. It's 3 books in one today. Originally it was 3 books, but now it's 3 books in one. And it's a manual, just like it says a course, right? A course in miracles. All right. So a course is a text where you have the principles kind of laid out for you. Then there's a workbook, which consists of 365 lessons. Theoretically, you do 1 lesson a day. Not too many people I know were able to accomplish that. Or then we have the other extreme of people who read like 5 lessons a day, and they're really not getting what they should be getting out of it. But anyway, that's another story. And then there's a manual for teachers. Now, all of those things we think we know what we mean, but they mean something very different in the course. So what I'm going to do over the next, I don't know, till guidance tells me to do something else, is I am going to discuss one of those lessons for a little bit, just to give you a taste of it, to see if it's something that resonates with you. Because as I said, this is by far the most direct path, I'm going to say, to really eliminating stress when you come up against it. Now, it's not going to eliminate stress from your life. Let me make that clear. We're all going to, as long as we're walking around in a body, we're going to have situations that arise that, kind of make us jump back and go, what's going on here? However, what this course will do is help us learn how to handle that stress lovingly for ourselves and for everyone around us. And that's so much a better way to live, isn't it? Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about it. Go find out for yourself if you're interested. So the lesson I'm going to talk about today is lesson 2. And it is, I have given everything that I see in this room, on this street, from this window, wherever you happen to be, all the meaning that it has for me. Now, this is why, and I'll repeat it again, I have given everything that I see in this place all the meaning that it has for me. Everything. There's nothing you can not include. This is totally exclusive. You cannot exclude anything. Everything that you see, everything is what you have given it meaning for. Okay, and that's, if you really think about it, that is not easy to necessarily agree with, because we feel very justified in some of the things that we think and believe, and think that it means a certain thing. And in fact, that's what it means for you, yes, but it also may indicate that you have made a choice for believing in something that is not in your own best interests. Let's put it that way. So, in this case, when I say I have given this cup all the meaning that it has for me, it has meaning for me because my grandson made it for me. And that to me is very precious. And if I broke this cup, I probably would be kind of disappointed. I would be a little upset, especially if I knocked it over or something and broke it. I'd be mad at myself momentarily. Okay? But you don't want to hold on to that. That's the whole idea. It's like saying, okay, it's a cup. Well, it's not something that's going to change my life if it doesn't exist for me. And there's much more to say about that. But again, I'm trying to keep this brief because I don't want to overwhelm. But I do want to introduce some of these ideas so that you can get to see what the Course is really saying and how different it is, how radical. It really is a radical training for mind shift, okay, to shift our thinking so that we can be peaceful instead of angry, anxious, fearful, sad, depressed, all of those emotions that we experience in our ego state of mind. So when we say everything that I see, I have given everything that I see, all the meaning that it has for me. Now, again, I look at the cup, and for me, the meaning is a happy meaning, right? Because my grandson made it for me, and I love it, and so forth and so on. And so that's a happy meaning, and you say, great, right? That's great. But then again, if I break the cup, what happens? Now my happiness is gone, right? Because I don't have the cup anymore. And so we set ourselves up. Do you see how that sets you up for disappointment, for some form of sadness and dis-ease, right? And then when the dis-ease hits our mind, it has a way of fluctuating right down into our bodies, and we get sick physically, because it's a continuum. The body mind continuum works together. If your mind is not free and clear and peaceful, your body won't be either. So, or at least not for too long. It'll work its way up, and eventually you'll pay the price. So that's why it is so extremely important to take responsibility for what we're thinking and what we believe. Because if my beliefs cause me suffering, and this is a very Buddhist kind of principle, right? A lot of people call the Course Christian Buddhism, and or Western Buddhism, because it has those kinds of principles, those kinds of ideas that the Buddha discussed. So, if I say that I have given this cup meaning, then I have a certain idea, a fixed idea in my head of what it means, and unless I'm willing to be flexible and really question what I believe and what its impact could possibly be on me, it's not going to change. And then when something happens, then I'm, out of luck, right? Then I'm back in the soup. So, so that's what I want you to think about when you think about this idea that we give everything around us meaning. Not everything that things, but also people, and really that's much more important. So when we look at someone, and we have these first impressions of people when we meet them for the first time, and we think, oh, this person is great, or this person is, so you make that immediate first impression, judgment, and what that does is set you up for a very limited perspective, which in fact will cause you grief in the end. It will. So we want to remain open. We want to remain open, and we want to look at people around us, even the people close to us, especially the people close to us, because they're the ones that really because we dance with them, right? We're dancing with them daily, or very frequently. They're going to have the most impact on our thinking and the way we, therefore, on our health and our wellness. So it's extremely important to be able to look at those people with an open mind. Ooh, hard sometimes. Oh, very hard. When you've formed an opinion of someone, it's not easy to change it. But if that opinion is causing you to feel separated from that person, that's when the work really needs to happen. That's when we really need to see that, to observe it in ourselves and say, wait a minute, I'm probably just seeing one tiny little aspect of this person, and I've zeroed in on that little tiny aspect, and now that's my idea and of who this person is, and nothing's going to change. And unfortunately, that's happening so much today that it's left our society so on opposite sides. And it's painful to see because it's not necessary. It doesn't have to be that way. So, but each of us has to make that decision for ourselves. So I want you to spend some time just taking this sentence and seeing what it means for you and how it can help you to perhaps perceive what you believe differently so that you can be peaceful. And I'll read it one more time. I have given everything I see in this place all the meaning that it has for me. Everything and everybody. All the meaning that it has for me. Okay? All right, so it's Friday. Have a beautiful rest of the day. It's my birthday weekend. I'm going to just enjoy. I always enjoy everything as much as I can. And I want you to do the same because that's what we're here for. We're here to enjoy each other. So don't limit yourself. Let yourself enjoy the experience of being with yourself and with other people. That goes for yourself too, but that's another topic. Okay, so have a great weekend and a great week ahead. Until next time, many blessings and see you soon.